How appropriate to finish up our last day of Sailing Anarchy coverage of the Moth Worlds with a view of this beautiful creature. A lovely McGregor 26. Faster than a Moth on some points of sail. Fuck me. Ro, come over here, buddy. Rohan Veal, and by the way, I apologize extremely because I kept calling you Rohan for some reason this week during our coverage.
Bora told you.
I knew, I knew, but you know, a bunch of Aussies got pissed at me and threatened to beat my ass.
Picked Nathan. Sorry, I was on the race course rounding up high, and you always called. You know
what you need? You know where it says Veal? It needs to be twice as big.
I know, that's what we're doing next year.
Good. I'll tell you what.
Or different coloured caps, wetsuits, and boats. Something.
Yeah, like each team maybe. Remember like when Audi did Le Mans, they each had the silver cars, but one had neon orange mirrors and one had neon yellow mirrors. Maybe your racks. Well, but that's actually a consideration. I mean, you're obviously involved in the promotion of this class. And watch that beer by your left foot, hon. You're obviously involved in the promotion for a while. You're trying to figure out how to sell and sail and promote these things. There's the Puma in Boston, and they're so photogenic. But I know from the spectator point of view, we need to know who the guys are.
Yeah, I know. Well, that'll change. Well, for World Championships, it's different, I suppose, because we've got all individual sponsors, and we've got to put correct sale numbers on. And you know, I helped Nathan with his boat, prepare it. That were built at the same time. We put the stickers on at the same time, so it was almost slightly intentional to look like, okay, we're similar, we're part of a team. Yeah. But we had one number different on our SAR numbers as well. Right. And it made it difficult. And
then Rob was one more number.
Rob was one more than us. So it was, it was slightly intentional to look similar. But certainly when we're doing more Grand Prix type racing in the future, we're going to have like really brightly coloured sails individually for each boat, because that really stands out. And if they've got a tinted monofilm too, the sun strikes through it, it makes it look really good. Now, we've done a little bit of it before with the Puma boats, and they work really well. And this is what, after this regatta's over, I'm just going home to sort that out. We're going to Hamilton Island, doing some racing up there. It's really short course inshore.
And is it for Hamilton Island Race Week?
Yeah.
And they have a class, a start for the Moth?
Yeah, well, they've invited us up there to do
that's cool. This is the first time, yeah?
First time, yeah. And then we're hopefully going back in October again and start up a Grand Prix season throughout Australia from October till January. And then we want to go send those boats to Europe and then to North America and do a series over there.
Right.
You know, two days of racing on the weekend. Sailors, we just invite them, whoever's available. Maybe there's 5 or 10 sailors, just rock up. Boats are there, rigged, ready to go. All you can do is just turn up and sail them.
It'll spread so fast.
Yeah, but really close inshore, 2-minute races, and then really try and sell sailing as a sport to organisations like the X Games, ISAF, IOC, for the Olympic Games as well, because this is what it needs to be. It clearly proved here that it can be a spectator sport if you know nothing about sailing.
There were 135 people on this point today.
Yeah.
In Cascade Locks, Oregon, where there are maybe 200 people live in the whole town.
Yeah. So we have no question that it'll work, and it's just a matter of just proving it now, just taking that next step and gradually building, and then show it just because certain stakeholders to make sure that they can see that this is going to
exactly.
work.
If you can get the sponsors to understand that people will see their message and spend money on it, then they'll keep supporting it, right? It's just a numbers game.
Yeah, I think Puma's definitely interested. I think they want to do something in the future, and we've just got to find out what that is after that. But
well, we certainly hope to hear, and we hope you tell us as soon as you can what's going on. We'll be happy to show any numbers we need to prove how big this thing can be.
Yeah. Well, every year we keep saying, imagine what it's going to be like in 3 years, and we can only, I can't even think what it's going to be like in 3 years. But the Olympics, not for the Moth class itself, but certainly a one design version could be good, but there's now another obstacle because the catamaran's got to try and get back in.
Seriously, I throw you, at some point you throw your hands up and say, we don't need them, At the end of the day, we don't need them. If we can prove that people will watch it, who needs the Olympics?
Yeah, well, that's another good point. Yeah. I mean, is the Olympics good for sailing? It may not be. It's a lot of...
It's political and it's
very
complicated.
Very top end, and we're losing the bottom end very rapidly, and we're trying to bring that back.
Meanwhile, at this event, you seem like you've got a good bottom end as far as kids. There was 4 kids 18 or under, or 5 kids 18 or under in the fleet. A girl in a boat that's widely regarded as one of the most challenging to sail. Whether that's true or not. And it seems like that with you and with AMAC and some of the work that the production builders have put in to bring more notoriety really to the class, I think it's working, and there's a pretty good variety of people sailing these boats.
Yeah, there's going to be more. This year's a bit tough because of the economy. Flights weren't too expensive to get here, but everyone's just being a bit more conservative.
Sure.
Maybe in Dubai we get a few more Europeans turning up, but I still think that maybe
Dubai's expensive too, though.
Yeah, well, it's actually really cheap at the moment. The economy's everything's dropped by 50%.
Really?
So I don't think it'll be as expensive as what people think, but I still think people might be a bit more conservative, even though we've already reached the bottom of the economy. But I think the year after in Lake Macquarie, the Worlds there should be fairly big. There'll be at least 60 Australians, maybe 70, and hopefully we'll try and push a 100-boat fleet.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. Let's go to your performance here. I know a lot of people picked you certainly for the top 3, but you'd taken a full year plus off, and you just didn't seem to be able to put it together. Equipment issues and just not matching the speed of Bora and Nathan. What else? Was that just it? Just not enough prep time?
Possibly. I mean, it would have helped if I'd done the Nationals, and I had to use that boat in the Nationals, but coming here, no race practice whatsoever, apart from the Nationals last week, and I thought I did pretty good, but I just seemed to go slower and slower as the long as the Worlds went on, and I had the major leak problem, and I just could not fix that. A few other issues, and in the last race today, my front hydrofoil flap ripped off, and that was it. I just gave up after that. There was no point doing any more.
Yeah.
I couldn't lose 6th, but pretty disappointed. But it is a learning experience, racing Moths, and if you're not prepared to, put the time in, then don't expect great results. And it was clearly proven by Bora. I mean, he put more time in than anyone, and that shows. And that's what you need to do. And I know that, and he knows that now. And so going to Dubai next year, I'll be making sure that I'm putting a lot more time in, doing a lot more race training, and making sure my boat is race ready.
How much of a percentage of, just assign numbers to boat prep, boat handling, and fitness? What's the most important and why?
I think you need a good third split between each of those.
Really?
I think the boat is fairly important. It's got to be fast. Clearly, that's important. But you can still win on not the fastest boat.
Right.
That's been done before. AMAC was fastest last year, but John Harris still won. So he has got really good sailing skills, and his boat was set up pretty good, but it's not as fast as some others. But so it doesn't have to be the fastest boat, but definitely you need to be fit. I mean, John was quite fit last year as well, riding a lot, and I put a lot of emphasis on that this year. And I had no problem with fitness. I was not sore or not tired after each race. But I just lacked in the boat preparation side of things. I think my race skills were maybe not as good as what Nathan's would have been. I could get the shifts, but I just lacked the boat speed, and therefore you just drop down a few places every time that happens.
Yeah. So Blade Rider is now being built in Australia, is that right?
We built a few boats in Australia, prototypes, and that was one that I was sailing in Nathan.
Those are like the sort of Grand Prix full race versions?
Yeah, VRX. So we built a couple of them with a few early issues, but we've sold them and put a few production boats out now. There's about 10 out there, and they're flawless. We've had no problems at all with any of those VRXs that have been racing here at the World Championships. But things move quite quick in this class, and you've got to keep up to date. And so, but we've got new foils coming out, new rudder. There's a lot of new stuff coming out soon. And
all right.
Working on something quite radical for the Dubai Championships, and I can't really talk about it.
Of course, now we're already getting into the Moth Secret Spy Wars for next year.
Yeah.
Well, look, we got to wrap this up, Ro. But check out BladeRider.com. .com.au. Sorry, we're not biased here, despite having a sponsor that's a competitor. Rohan's done a lot for the Moths, and hell, the way they sail the boat upwind's named after him. So nice job getting the boats here and having your guy Nathan get a second. It was a good battle to watch, both between the manufacturers and the men.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks.